Sodium. It's also loss of fluid, so you can put diarrhea in both a DOT and a BHT issue. Let's talk about Julie. Go ahead.
I had pre-question when I was pregnant, and one of the chapters are proteins in the urine.
Right.
So is that what they're checking for? Because if you're dumping tons of proteins, then is that like that lady did where her and she died?
Yeah, exactly. In her case, where she was drinking tons of fluid, she was giving herself hyponatremia. Losing the VOC would mean that the fluid's out here and not in the bloodstream, but it's actually producing shock. So yeah, if you're checking urine for, say, proteins, whole form proteins, then they're not here, so the cells may actually swell, and that's where all that excess fluid goes. It's not in the urine necessarily, but out into the tissues. Yeah, exactly.
Proteins go in they don't leave when, in this case, like the one we're talking about with the DOT decreases.
Right.
They don't leave in urine.
In her case, she's talking about they could. Yes, so if they're leaving in urine, they're gone from the bloodstream, and then, of course, you have no way to suck that fluid back in at the venial end.
So when we talk about right here, though, they stay in, but it's just...
Perhaps you're just not making enough. Maybe you have a liver disorder, so there's, for some reason, you don't have enough protein or solute.
So when we absorb the way it goes back into here?
The venial end hits the capillary. And once you're in the capillary, you're keeping the blood pressure up where it's supposed to be. But yeah, if you don't reabsorb that fluid, it's not being brought back into the capillary, it stays out in the interstitial space. Is that kind of what you're asking?
When it says the interstitial space, that causes the venial?
Yes. Yeah.
When she was saying that happened to her, that's what happened to me when I was getting my brain full. The fluid wasn't coming out in my urine, it was just going to my cells, and all my organs had full. So the last organ was my brain, and that's the only way they realized that I wasn't getting it out of my system, so they had to send me in a helicopter to Columbia, and then they just gave me a wait system, and that was it.
Easy solution for all of that trouble, right? Yeah. Yeah, so something probably was happening when you had lost proteins and salts from your bloodstream, and then there it was in the interstitial space. Exactly.
They kept giving me fluids, but it wasn't making a way for the fluid to come out. They were giving me the magnesium sulfate in my IV, but they wasn't letting me eat, so they had to keep giving me fluids first. They wasn't providing for a way for it to go out, plus my blood pressure was like 200 or something over 100.
Well, no kidding with that much fluid, right?
They couldn't figure out what they were doing wrong, and
wow.
brain swell because you got all this fluid on your brain. Now we got to drink. And then you just smoke it over. With the IV, you'll be alright. Because once that started happening, I was blind. I couldn't see. They thought that they couldn't figure out why I couldn't see. Now it's like, send me somewhere, and then we got down there, like, yeah, see, it's all your organs shutting out. Your brain took it first, because when he showed me the pictures of my CAT scan and stuff, he was like, my brain looking like that, but except for the whole brain was full. I couldn't even pick up my head. That's why I couldn't see.
There's too much fluid in there, yeah. Crushing all that brain part.
Hopefully you don't.
Caroline Fine with her.
Oh, no.
First and last.
Let me get those last two on the bottom down there for you real quick.
I got one question. Okay, so like at the venial end, the proteins and solutes, they're staying, and it's like what's happening? Like why is it not? You know what I'm saying? Like why is it not coming back?
If you normally have so many proteins and solutes in here, they're creating enough pull to get that fluid back in the capillary. But if I start getting rid of some of them, then I don't have enough of a pull. Like maybe you have a liver disorder and you don't make enough, or maybe aldosterone's not pulling back enough sodium into your bloodstream. Then whatever may reduce the amount of solutes and proteins in the capillary will reduce your pulling power to getting that fluid back in. And I didn't mention this to you, but you may also have a situation where you have too many proteins and solutes out here, and the pulling power is not coming back in, the pulling power is going out. So that could also do it for you too. Two last thoughts. If you increase BHP, it's a fire hose of fluid being pushed out. And if you push tons of fluid out that you can't possibly reclaim all of it back in, what happens to all that fluid?
Lymphatic system.
Lymphatic system's overwhelmed. Edema, yeah. So increase the BHP, cells swell. This is edema. This is high blood pressure, right? Okay, so you've got situations where high blood pressure can actually force fluids out. Excess fluids out here are hypotonic to the cell, so the cells, of course, swell. On the flip side of the coin, if everything else is normal, let's say you have too many solutes and proteins in the bloodstream. So in this case, you're not affecting the filtration in, you're affecting the reabsorption in. So what if you increase the BOP? Yeah, they'll shrivel because you're pulling tons of fluid out of the interstitial space back into the capillary. So in this case, increasing BOP will cause cells to shrivel. Excess salt in your system, drinking salt water, things that increase proteins in your body, all those types of situations will pull more fluids than necessary back into the capillary, causing dehydration.
So at the arterial end is the actual blood pressure that's forcing it through the capillary wall.
Yeah.
Then at the venule end is the presence of ions and proteins and solutes that determines where it's going to go. If it's the solutes are in the blood, it's going to draw the fluid from the tissue. If too many solutes in the tissue, it's going to draw more fluid from the blood.
Perfect. You got it. What you need to do for homework is try 4 through 10 on page 133. Okay, and then we're going to do those answers when we come back in here on Thursday, okay? So you need to try your hand at those and see what you think.